Good morning. Welcome to Clap2 ACRT live interactive webinar session for the day 8, streaming on YouTube and Facebook. అందరికీ ఒకసారి నమస్కారం తెలియజేస్తూ సో మరి ఈరోజు టాపిక్ చూసినట్లయితే మంచి ఇంట్రెస్టింగ్ టాపిక్ లాంగ్వేజ్ ఫంక్షన్స్ ఇన్ స్పోకెన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ అనే టాపిక్ తో మనతో ఉన్నారు డాక్టర్ కే శోభా గారు. వెల్కమ్ యూ మ్యామ్. So with us, Pokri Srinivas garu also from digital education. Yeah, aithe mari let me introduce Dr. Shobha garu. Dr. Shobha Kane. She is from Chennai, working as assistant professor of English in Anna University, and she is known for her good trainings, teacher trainings. You all very well know about all these things. Along with that, now Shobha Madam exploring various online platforms, so that which are related to online e-learning, especially online training and e-learning. Because COVID time, it is a very difficult and tough time. The only way by which we can reach to the people is online. So she is exploring on that and empowering the so many fraternity as well as the students in language, because she's master in English as well as she had PhD degree from in English. So really we are very fortunate to have Shobha Madam for today's session. Madam, you're most welcome, and start your session, ma'am.
Thank you, Ishmael sir, for that nice introduction. Yes, I think they say desperate times calls for desperate measures. So now in this desperate time of COVID and Corona, we have to reinvent ourselves as teachers and teacher educators, trying to explore various platforms. I am also sure you are learning a lot online these days, exploring not only the tools like, now you are watching YouTube for learning, but also there are a lot of techniques through which we can learn how we can make notes, how we can try and navigate through the internet to find the right resources. You must be reading lots of PDFs. So all these ideas and opportunities have been created to us. Try and explore more of it. On that note, let us start. Again, today we have a very significant and important topic. The topic for the day is language functions for spoken English. Let us go to the session. I will share my screen now. I hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, yesterday, we shared a feelings wheel on the reading material. On the reading material, there was one big wheel which spoke about how to express our feelings, because it was all about words. We decided we will learn how to enhance our vocabulary skills, especially for spoken English. So in that kind of an attempt, what we did was, we were trying to find lots of synonyms. We were trying to see how we can use the thesaurus. There was a lot of questions about the differences between and the thesaurus. So we explored these areas. So today I am going to start with the question. The question is, I hope you have all gone through the feelings wheel. In your chat box, I want you to enter how you are feeling this morning. Okay, so use the feeling wheel. There are so many expressions. You can leave out the expressions in the central wheel, right? Because in the center, you have only ideas like happy, sad. You don't have to use those basic words. You can move a little further beyond. You can come to the outer circle where there are so many words related to expressing our emotions. So I am asking you a question. The question is, enter in your chat box, expressing your emotions, how you are feeling this morning. 30 seconds to do that. I can see answers already coming. great, cloud nine, happy, lovable, fantastic, awesome. Some more strong words can we have? Good, excited. I don't want repetitive words coming in. So let us see. Who are all typing words from the outer wheel? Okay, anxious about the topic. You don't have to feel anxious at all about the topic. Enthusiastic. Okay. Somebody is feeling pretty lazy. Fantastic, pleasant. Great. So now we can see how the mood is very jubilant. Everybody is very enthusiastic, ready to learn. So what we are going to do now is explore language functions. What we did just now is also one of the main functions of language. What is that function? I questioned you. And what did you do? You replied via the chat box. And when you replied, you gave a word which was expressing your emotion. So we did three things. I questioned, you answered, and you articulated your emotion, or you expressed your emotion. These are the three basic things in human communication, right? As soon as you get up at morning, what do you ask? You ask someone in the house, can I have a cup of coffee? Of course, I will ask who wants to drink coffee in the morning, and I will prepare coffee. So most of us, questions are parts of communication. So we have to learn how to question. In spoken English, questioning is a very important function. And then, of course, replying. Whenever we are replying, there are so many tactics to reply. Some of us are very clever. Like if we say, who wants to drink coffee? The first question will be, who will make the coffee? So some people will ask a question to our question as a reply. So replying is also a very important skill in language. How do you reply? And another key aspect of language function is expressing our thoughts. When I say expressing, the human mind has so much to express. We express our abilities. Sometimes I tell you, I can give a YouTube lecture. So I'm expressing my ability. I can train teachers. So you will say, I can train students. I help a lot of students. So that is your ability. Our potentials we try and express. Sometimes we also express our feelings that are not very pleasant. For all this, we need different words. So yesterday I gave you the word wheel, the feelings wheel, and today I am asking you a question based on that. This is called the process of priming. What is priming? So yesterday, when I introduced all the words, I expected that you would have gone through the words. So I am preparing you. So priming refers to preparation, a kind of a pre-activity, an activity you do before the activity. So only when I give you the wheel, you will be able to identify the words that you want to express. So most of us will not know the meaning of the words on the outer wheel, but the central wheel, it helps us to connect. So priming also has to happen in a very strategic manner. It has to happen in a very logical manner. Okay. So let us try and see what language functions are all about. Language functions again refers to our basic communication. So look at this thought. Every time we communicate, it is for a particular reason. The function of the language is nothing but that reason. If there were no reasons to communicate, then language would never have developed. I hope all of you will agree with me. Most of the times, communication also happens without language, right? We can listen even without language. We saw how a mother used to the baby. We saw how a doctor listens to the heartbeat. All this happens without language. Okay. So every time we communicate, there is an important reason. So if you want to say something, if you want to ask something, if you want to share something, that is the reason. Without reason, we usually don't communicate, right? That is called language functions. Don't assume that language functions is a big concept in learning English. Language function is nothing but the reason for communicating. So we are going to see what are the various language functions and examples. So the roadmap for the session. First thing we are going to see is what is a language function. Then we are going to see components of language function. And then it is spoken skills for expressing functions. Very simple. Only 3 things today. Let us move on to the first slide. So I had already explained that function refers to the reason for communicating. So a language function is obviously the purpose of speaking that sentence or phrase. When I told you, how are you all feeling today? The purpose was to question you, to find out. Now say for example, if I'm saying I am sorry, what function is it representing? Apologizing. Apologizing means saying sorry. We write apology letters sometimes. Our students write apology letters. Good morning, representation of greeting. So when we greet somebody, we use certain words. We say Shubhodayam. So I learned this word from Ishmael sir. So Shubhodayam means good morning. I want to greet, I want to smile. Right? Because human beings are very reciprocative. What is reciprocative? We imitate each other. When I smile, you also will be smiling. Right? So it's called greeting. The purpose is greeting. So these two are again some more language functions. There are several approaches to language learning. Right? If you look at the history of English language teaching, we have several methods. Some methods, grammar translation we have. Okay. So audiolingual method, communicative method. So now lot of the post method is there. So no method at all, they say. Whatever is important to your context. But then function-based language learning, okay? Learning language from the point of view of function. They say that facilitates accurate and fluent communication. So if you want accurate and fluent communication, then you have to approach language learning in a function-based manner. So what are the components of language functions? Talking about personal habits. So usually when we are talking with somebody, what do we usually say? This morning also my sons were talking. Today is June 5th. If we were at school, we will be participating in all the Environment Day competitions. I will be doing this speech before a big class, but I have to record in my mobile and send. Everyday habits have changed a lot, right? Otherwise, you will be saying, no, June 4th, June 5th, these are all school inauguration days. All of us will be so busy. Now our habits. So we talk about habits. Even without anybody asking us, when we meet somebody, we say, I usually take this bus, but today, I missed the bus. Habits. Expressing likes and dislikes. We say, yeah, I like this movie. This movie was great. What are the words we can use? What are the functions? Expressing reasons for likes and dislikes. So first one is expressing likes. After that, you have to say the reason also. I like this movie because it has a great story. I like this pen because it writes smoothly. So that sentence structure we have to learn. Expressing a preference. I prefer coffee to tea. So when you're using prefer, you have to use to. Comparing. Okay. So sometimes we say product A is cheaper than product B. Talking about recent changes. Yes, this is something all of us are talking about now. There are so many changes in our lives, lifestyle. How can we speak about recent changes? Contrasting. When you want to show the difference, contrast means difference. Suggesting, when you want to give some advice. When you want to express your opinion, giving your opinion. In my opinion, using product A is better than using product B. Giving reasons for opinions. Because. You have to give a because and a reason for your opinion also. Explaining. Now, what am I doing? I am explaining language functions to you. Speculating. So when I'm explaining, what are the words that I use? I introduce the topic, then I speak about the topic, I give you a definition and examples. So speculating means guessing. Sometimes we guess things that we don't know. And sometimes we also guess things about the future. And then we also express our plans, intentions, hopes for the future. Sometimes we also clarify things. If I'm telling you, is this that book you were talking about yesterday? You will tell me, no, it is not this book, ma'am. It's a different book. So you will clarify. And sometimes we have to explain a word when you have forgotten, right? Sometimes what happens, say for example, I want to use a word, but then I forgot that word. So what I am trying to do, I am substituting that word with a different word. So that also happens. And generally speaking, now what we have done through these 17 functions is, we have seen 17 reasons for our communication. There are more reasons, but I cannot just know that learning all the functions, learning all the sentence structure can help us in accurate and fluent communication. But in a 1 hour session, that is not going to be possible. In the reading material, I have given you lots of examples with explanations for these functions. We will look at the most important functions with examples so that you can start using them. So yesterday, many of them have commented, use it or lose it. That stuck to our mind, ma'am. So if you want to lose anything, you can just keep it somewhere without using. But if you want to master something, you have to keep on using it. So these 17 are general reasons in our life that we use to communicate. So try using these sentences. Okay. So moving on, spoken skills for expressing functions. Look at this. When you cannot believe something that you are seeing or hearing, you will be saying, I am in disbelief. You must be mistaken. I don't believe it. Are you sure? Are you serious? Are you kidding? Really? No way. You can also see how my pronunciation changes. The intonation changes. Because as you can see in the diagram, there is an arrow mark, and the first sentence, the second sentence, these are all very formal. In a formal situation, sometimes when we speak, we have to use these kinds of sentences or expressions. But when you're talking in an informal way, if you're talking with your colleagues or if you're talking with your children, your students, if you can't believe anything, you'll say, really? But in a formal situation, when you're talking to a stranger, we usually say, sorry, you must be mistaken. This is the house that you're looking for. You can't believe that the person is saying, no, this person lives in this house, when you know that is wrong. Okay? So run through the expressions again. When I say run through, I mean, I want you to read through the expressions again. So there is a formal context and there is an informal context. So the expressions depend on where you are going to use it. Now, again, we are going to do a small activity. I'm going to tell you a sentence. I'm going to express something and you are going to express your disbelief. Okay, whether you believe it or not, you are going to use one of these expressions. Using one of these expressions, you are going to give your answer. Are you ready? Here is the question. What will you say if I tell you the whole COVID-19 pandemic was just a bad dream? Okay. So I'm reading the question again. What will you say if I tell you you disbelief now? How are you going to express your disbelief? I'm showing the previous slide. You can use the slide, refer, and you can give me an answer. If somebody is telling you something that you cannot believe, what will you say? You have started entering. I don't believe it. Are you kidding? No, it's not. So I agree with you. I am in disbelief. Okay, that's a good answer. Very formal communication. So many are writing exactly, really. It's a nightmare. It's not a dream. Some people are writing. Oh, really? Many of you are very happy looking at this sentence, I think. Thank you. Thank you for all your responses. That kind of helps, that you are very interactive. You are following the presentation. So this is how you express your disbelief. Somebody, when they are telling you something that you cannot believe, what are you going to do? You are going to say, you must be mistaken. I don't believe it. Are you sure? Are you serious? Are you kidding? Really? No way. So now you have mastered a few expressions for expressing your everybody who typed the answer. Let us move on. This is the question. Now, requesting silence. This is also an important function because these days all of us are attending so many meetings, so many webinars are happening. Are in movies, they are enjoying, okay? And we want some silence. You know how children are. During the month of May, the whole street is very noisy. Amazingly or unusually, this May the streets were very silent. So if you want to request silence, especially in classrooms, teachers, we do this a lot, right? We have to request silence many times. Look at the expressions that we can use. Would you mind being a little quieter? Okay, say you are meeting a stranger and there is so much noise. We have to ask like this. Could you, would you? These are all very polite expressions. Would you mind being a little quieter? Could you please keep it down? So keep it down, again, this is a multi-word. Yesterday, we understood what multi-words are. I hope you remember. So can you please keep it down? Could you please keep it down? Especially in formal situations, in official situations, somebody whom we don't know. Quiet, please, we say. Inside voices, please. In theaters, they will say inside voices. Okay, not outside voices. In public, sometimes we scream, which is also bad manners. Please lower the volume. I can't think because it's so noisy. And sometimes very informally, when our students are there or when our friends are there, we simply say, shh. Okay. So I have a question for you again. I want you to type the answer in the chat box using one of these expressions. What is the question? You are watching this webinar and your family watches television in a very high volume. What will you say? Okay. So the question is, you are watching this webinar maybe on your mobile phone or on your laptop without headsets. And your children, your parents, your spouses, they are watching television in a very high volume. Okay. So what will you say at this? I'm going to show you the previous slide. What will you tell your family? So use one of these expressions and type your answers. So I'm asking you to type the answers so that we will assimilate, we will internalize the sentence structure. Please lower the volume. Okay. Could you please keep it down? Quiet, please. I will use the headphones. So somebody is very scared of the family. Okay. Of course, your family will tell you, if you want to watch it, why don't you use your headphones? But now we know how to request silence. Please lower the volume. Please reduce the volume. Okay. Please reduce the volume, will you? Okay. I think he will ask his children with that tone. You cannot ask your spouse in that tone, right? I think I will ask my my spouse, like, could you please keep it down, or quiet, please. I won't say shh or will you. Okay, that was a good one. So again, thank you for being so interactive and typing all the answers. I'm telling you again, this task we have to reinforce the idea. Just reading will not help, right? So we have to write also once. That's why I'm asking you to read, listen, watch, understand, and also type. And there is a context also. This is the context. The context is that you're watching the webinar. Okay, let us move on to the next function. Express encouragement. Now, this is very essential for teachers, because as teachers, I think it is our job to encourage our students. I usually, in my class, when a student is moving from 40 marks to 50 marks, or if a student is moving from 30 marks to 45 marks, I call that student and I speak very encouragingly. The students who have got 80 marks and then they move to 100 marks, they become a little upset and they ask me, Madam, I scored 100, but you are not encouraging me. You are talking to that student, right? But as teachers, we know that the student who's improving at a lower level is also putting a lot of hard work. Okay, so let us try and see what words of encouragement we can use. Please try and get more marks or do this better. You can say anything. And then sometimes you can say almost there. When a student is running a race, you're like, you're almost there. Keep going. Don't stop. Sometimes we say, you can do it. And then sometimes our children, when they're writing their homework, they will say, Mommy, can I write this tomorrow, please? We have to encourage and try and make them finish the homework. You're almost done. It's just some more. No, finish it off, we say. We have to encourage. Sometimes we say, don't give up. And sometimes when they dress up and, when they come, we have to say, you're looking good. Keep it up. Simple phrases we can express encouragement. So let us see the question. Your student aims to score 100 in maths but misses by a mark or two. What will you tell the student? This is a very common scenario in our classrooms. Okay? Because maths and 100, I don't know, there is some kind of an attraction. Students also know well that they can score 100 only in maths. So what will be your answer in this situation? The student is saying, oh, I didn't score 100 this time also. What will be your response? How will you encourage the student? Okay, you have started to give your answers. Keep it up. Very good. Keep it up. You're almost done. So you're almost done can be used for certain situations where somebody has come till the last, but then they, okay. So how can we encourage the student? You're almost there. That is a good expression. So it is, now I am, getting the feeling of a real classroom. How in the classroom, students will give answers. We get all right and wrong answers. Then we discuss. Then we say why this answer is wrong when you're doing it in the chat box. You can always achieve it. Try again. No problem. Time. Keep it up. Don't worry. Keep it up. You're almost done. Great achievement. Better luck next time. Okay. So these are all certain ways of entering answers for encouragement. Very good. Let us move on to the next apologies. Now, every day There is some situation where we have to express our apology. And I don't think saying sorry is a very difficult thing to do. In life, we have to say sorry many times. Sometimes when student asks me questions, when some students are asking me and I don't know, I say, I should be knowing this, but I will look up and I will come and tell you the answer. I have to use the words like, please accept my sincerest apologies. Now, this is for a very formal situation, okay, not for a classroom situation. I am very sorry for. Sometimes we shout at students. Sometimes we can say, hey, I'm very sorry. I got very upset when you did that. Yesterday we saw how upset is different from feeling annoyed, furious, raged. So the intensity. Excuse me for, pardon me, sorry about that, sorry. Or sometimes among friends we say, oops, sorry. Okay. So informal means very friendly communication. Formal means in a very official situation. Now imagine your colleague's mother passed away. What will you actually say? How will you express your apology at that time? Because when it comes to spoken English, for of course, classroom and staff room, both are equally important. Staff room is where you can actually practice your spoken English a lot. So the situation is one of your friend's mother passed away. What will you say? You can use one of these. Of course, you can definitely not say whoops or sorry. You have to choose the appropriate answer. This is like an MCQ. You have to choose the appropriate answer. What will you say in that kind of situation? Yes, you have started entering the answers. Let me check. I am so sorry. Sorry about the news. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I am so sorry. Accept my condolences, accept my grief. Yes. So, when we enter these answers in the chat box, what I'm actually expecting is the others who are watching and who are unable to enter it for some reason can just read through the answers. That way also we can learn. This is called collaborative learning. Okay. In classes, we do group activities. But here we cannot do any group activities. So we are using this method. Okay. This is the question. Expressing praise. We are, as teachers, generous in expressing praise, because compliments or praises are very important in relationships, whether it is a family relationship or professional relationship. I think teachers are also very good at that. As teachers, when we dress up well, when we go and do something fantastic, our friends keep cheering us. There is so much of discussion during the lunch break about the food you bring, about your students, and students also want praise. I think as teachers, we should be very generous when it comes to praising our students. It is only because somebody praised us that we are doing things in a much better way today, right? All your motivating messages, all your comments, all your compliments in the chat box, they help me to work more. They encourage me a lot. So we should always know how to praise others. So sales are all certain sentence frame. Usually with our students, we say, that's great, that's excellent, that's marvelous. How nice to see you do these things. Excellent achievement in mathematics, in science, in your speaking skills. Wonderful progress. How great to see you in this place. How great to see you in this position. Sometimes we meet our students after 10 or 15 years and they will be telling us stories about their school days. They would have achieved a lot, right? So we will be trying to, you have a flair for languages, we can say. So there are several frames that we can use. Now, your student wins a state level speech contest. What will you tell? What will you say? Your student comes and tell you, sir, madam, I went to this speech contest and I won. What are some of the things? As I can see in your chat box, you don't have to use the words that is given only here. You can use your own expressing praise sentences also. You don't have to pick one. You can use your own sentences also, because when others are watching the chat box, let them also learn lot of other phrases. Okay. Yes, I can see the answers now. Excellent achievement. Congratulations. You did a tremendous job. Oh, that is very motivating. Stupendous. Best of luck. Super. Splendid performance. I am very proud of you. Yes. I think sometimes as parents also we have to express our praise now and then for our children. I think as parents we don't, we are a little reserved, and we think if we praise our children too much, then they might feel overconfident. But then as parents also we have to express our praise now and then. So there are all so many words here. We can say wonderful, good job, nice try, excellent, way to go, great. Okay, these are all some words for expressing praise. Now, opinions. When you are giving your opinion, there are certain words that we use. This is also an important language function, because many of us are sharing opinions on a daily basis, whether we like it or not. Okay, whether the others like it or not, we give our opinions. So having thought about it, I feel this is a good idea, this is a bad idea. To be honest, I like the idea of, you can try and complete the sentence. In my opinion, this was truly useful, this was truly useless. I thought that this will be safe, but then it's bitter. It was actually, well, it is very useful. Well, it is a waste of time. Well, it is a great opportunity. So you can try and use these kinds of words when you want to express your opinions. So I have a question for you now. What do you think about online learning? What do you think about this mode of communication? I want you to type your answer in the chat box. You can use the frames here. Please use a complete sentence. Take your time, I will wait. There is something called teacher wait time in classes. We usually learn more about teacher talk time and student talk time, but there is something called teacher wait time. As teachers, we never wait for answers. We ask a question and then we move to the next question. So I'm going to practice. I want you to think and answer. What do you think about online learning? Think and answer. But I want you to answer with the frames. Don't simply put good, bad, good, bad. I want you to think about it and then I want you to answer. I think it is motivating us. Okay. I want your opinions on online learning. So if you can use these frames and then write the sentence, I will be very happy. But of course, even in classrooms, we don't get the same answer which we are expecting, right? When we tell our students, what is your name? We tell them, say, my name is so and so, but they will simply stand and tell their names. What do you think about online learning? It is useful. Some of them have written awful also, because as in problem of confusing awful and awesome, I don't know, or maybe they think that traditional learning is best and online learning is difficult for them. Okay, so many answers are coming. Thank you for all your answers. So moving on to the next slide. Opinions again. There are some other ways of expressing opinion. You can use these phrases also. I'm going to quickly run through with the expressions alone after this. So what is your opinion about developing your spoken English skills? What do you think? difficult? It is possible. Okay. You can just type your answer now. What is your opinion about developing your spoken? You can use these sentence frames. And each time I'm waiting for your answers. So this is your question. What is your opinion about developing spoken English skills? I'm showing you the sentence frames so that you can start using. Okay. I think it is a good opportunity. I think it is possible. I'm very glad that I'm learning. Okay. I am getting better. Okay. That can be the biggest motivation for me also. When we get better at something because of our practice, that will be excellent, right? So these are all some of the frames or words that we can use, phrases that we can use when we have to try and express our opinion. Okay, formal and informal. Sometimes we say we want to express warning. Please be aware of, be careful. This could be dangerous. Wait, please watch out. So sometimes if you want to express warning to our students, you know, our students are so playful. They do so many things. If you want to express warning, we can use these words. This is an important language function. I have a question for you here. Imagine your students are running on slippery floor during the rains. What will you say? Okay, this can be very dangerous. Usually now, you know, the students, they get into a different mood. They keep running in the corridors. They make so much of noise. Okay. So, but as teachers, we have to warn them. We also cannot encourage them. Yeah, you can go out and run. We don't say that, right? As teachers, even as parents, we don't do that. So when you see a student or when you see some students running on slippery floor in rain, what will you try and say? How will you tell them? You will say, look at that. You will say, take care. Please watch your step. We will say, be careful. Don't run. Be cautious. We have very caring teachers here, you know. I think you will be giving words like, no, don't do that. Don't run. Stop. You are all taking a lot of care, and you are saying that can be dangerous. Running could be dangerous on slippery floors. Don't do that. It's very dangerous. Be aware of the slippery floor. Walk slowly, please. Okay. So there are so many ways in which you can try and tell your students expressing warning. Sure. Now, if you want to express certainty, you will be saying that's absolutely right without a doubt. There is no doubt about it. Of course, exactly. If I am saying something that you're also thinking, the same thing, if you're thinking, you will be saying exactly my thoughts. I'm sure. I'm positive on this. I'm positive that it will rain today. Of course, Chennai has no signs of raining. Yesterday we had some lightning. With a little motivation and regular practice, you can master spoken English. With a little motivation and extra practice, you can master spoken English. What will be your response? I want you to give your answers using the words here. So the question is, with a little motivation and regular practice, you can master spoken English. What will be your response? So your response, can you please type your response for this? What will be your response? Can you type your response? Are you certain about it? Exactly, without doubt. Of course. So you can use all these words. I am positive. There is no doubt about it. Okay, very good. Good students. Sure. Giving permission. Most of our students will ask permission. They will come and tell us, ma'am, I want to go for sports practice. Ma'am, I want to go home early. Sometimes we don't allow that, but sometimes we also give permission. These are some of the words that we can use. If you want to say hello, these are some of the words. So you know all these things, so I am not stressing on that too much now. Giving a compliment. This is very important, right? When we want to give a compliment, usually, we say this is nice. But what are the other ways of saying? Excellent, fantastic, wonderful, incredible, extraordinary, marvelous. So you can use these kinds of sentence frame if you want to give a compliment. Making a suggestion. If you want to give a suggestion in school meetings, sometimes they will ask you, what do you think about this lesson? Do you have any new ways to do? You can say, of doing this lesson is, why don't we try this? One possibility of doing this is. So these are all various phrases that we can use to make a suggestion. Sometimes we also express sympathy, right? When some student falls, or when we go and try and help a student, we say, oh, poor thing, you fell down. Sometimes we give a lot of advice to our students. So please run through all the phrases, go through the phrases. You can use these phrases for expressing the function of giving advice. Complaint. This is whenever we call, there are so many things that we want to complain, right? These days we are having network issues, power cuts. So we call and we make complaints. And then there is saying goodbye. Okay. So many of you, when you see me, you will be telling me, very nice, madam, to having met you and discussing. So catch you later. So these are all some words for saying goodbye. When you want to ask something, you have to use these words. Excuse me, may I have? Can I please have? Okay. So how you express something actually depends on your social standing. Please remember, you cannot use the informal terms in formal way. It depends on how well you know the other person, who is listening, the circumstances under which the communication occurs. So you have to keep all these things in mind when you are trying to use the expressions that we saw. So these are all the language functions that I wanted to share with you. Now, how can we teach our students language functions? How can we include language functions in classroom transaction? How can we incorporate teaching language functions inside a lesson in the classroom? That we are going to see. And for that, I'm going to invite a teacher who can help us out in finding how to do classroom transaction. Okay. So I will join you after some time for the question and answer session. Now I request the teacher to explain how classroom transaction can be done. I will stop sharing my screen. Ismail sir, I hope
Yes.
sir is online. So it is important for us as teachers to use classroom transaction and also include a lot of language. So how we can do that? Because we have to use, to certain extent, bilingual method, right? So we have to use bilingual method before we do the transition. And how we can use the textbook. See, the textbook contains lots of materials which have been done exactly for this reason. How you can teach language functions using the textbook. So in any lesson, we can teach language functions. So especially in classroom situation. Now say for example, in a story, say for example, in the hare and tortoise story, all of us know the story. So when the hare is coming and introducing, we can say this is the concept of introducing. And sometimes when somebody is saying sorry in the story, we can say how this particular character is asking sorry. And then you can highlight that. Now, why we have to do that is purely because only when we do that, students will be able to take that sentence structure and use it in their communication outside the classroom also, within the classroom also. So we have to create lots of opportunities for learning inside the classroom, and how textbook can be very useful. So as you saw in the presentation, language functions are very important for us to communicate. So why language functions inside a spoken English class? Because we speak English or any language for that matter with a particular reason in mind, right? So we have a reason for communication, and that reason is language function. In the coming days, you will be seeing various language functions and the examples that you can use in order to describe or explain, because as teachers, we have to explain many things to our students. So when we have to explain or describe, what are the sentence frames that we can use? So there are going to be lots of ready-made phrases that you can pick up and you can use in your classrooms. Just like what we did today, as answers to the questions I asked about expressing our feelings. So you all expressed various ideas, your opinions, if you are believing or disbelieving, whether you're agreeing or not. Because these are the basic language functions that anybody will require, be it students or teachers. That's exactly why we learned.
So, madam, we really explained about the language functions. Yes, language functions are the best tool to generate language among the children. Our new textbooks are embedded with the appropriate content linked with the pertinent activities. So I have chosen one language activity, introducing oneself. So here, the main intention of our teaching strategy is to transform the child from caterpillar stage to butterfly. Here, మనం విద్యార్థుల్లో మనం ఒక భారంగా భావించకుండా తరగతి గదిని ఒక ఆనందదాయకమైన వాతావరణంలో మనం ఆంగ్ల బోధన చేయడానికి మనం ఉపక్రమించాలి. I have taken one sample here. I'm going to present a model transaction regarding this class 2, class 3 transaction language function. So we have taken self-introduction. Self-introduction is an activity. So my objectives are enable the children in using language function, self-introduction, make the children free from the hesitation and be able to share his interest with others. So here I followed 3-step strategy. First one, presentation, second one, practice and product. So I'm going to the transaction. Children, how are you? So before going to the topic, I'm trying to check whether you are in attention or not. No, I'm doing an activity. See, whatever I say, you follow. So I have said, raise your right hand. Down your right hand. Touch your nose. Okay. Now you follow whatever I say. You do not follow whatever I do. See, touch your nose. Hey Ramesh, you did wrong. What I say? You are following what I did here. Touch your stomach. Okay, very good. So it is an activity to test whether you are in attention or not. See, I have taken this sample. See, dear these children, I want you to know how to introduce yourself when you meet new people. So here, see who is he? Oh, okay. Hi children, I am Janali Rama.
Do you have any presentation screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just share screen ni press చేయండి.
Yes, sir. I have shared, sir, but it is not favoring.
యా ఇప్పుడు మొదలవుతోంది.
Yes, sir. Is it audible, sir? Is my voice audible, sir?
Audible, no problem. మీరు present, yes.
Am I visible, sir?
Yeah. You are also visible.
Sir,
Yeah,
no,
great.
I am going to.
No problem.
Sir, sorry for causing inconvenience.
No problem. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm going to restart. Children, I'm going to test whether you are in attention or not. So do you follow whatever I say? Okay? Touch your nose. There, Ramesh. You did wrong. I said you touch your nose, but you followed what I did here. Touch your chin. Hey, Radha, you did wrong. What I said? I said you touch your chin, but you touch your stomach. You followed what I did. But you have to follow what I say. Okay? Next. Go for next. So I'm here in this lesson. I have chosen self-introduction. These are the objectives I have chosen. This enable the children using language function self-introduction. Make the children free from hesitation and able to share his interest with others. Next, I followed the 3-step strategy: presentation, practice, and product. So, as the time is running short, I will finish it in 5 minutes. See, dear children, now I want you to know how to introduce yourselves when you meet new people. See, here, Tenalaram, my picture is here. See how he introduces. Hi children, I am Tenali Rama. I am poet in the court of Sri Krishna Deva Raya. I am popular as a just. Yes. See children, now tell me, dear sweet great children, who did he address? What did he say? He addressed the children. Oh, what is his name? Tenali Rama. Very good, very good. What is he? He is a poet. Very good, Radha. Right. Where does he work? He works in the court of Sri Krishna Deva Raya. Very good, very good. How is he popular? What do you say? No, wrong. Go next. Oh, he is popular as a guest. Okay. Next. See, now let me introduce myself. Okay? So, hello. Dear sweet great children, my name is Shadri. I am a teacher at Jackie High School, Maradam. I am popular as a science teacher. What did you observe? What did you observe the difference between me and Tenali Ramakrishna? How did he address? He addressed, hi children. How did I address? Three great children. Very good. Is there any difference between me and Tenali Ramakrishna in addressing? Yes. He addressed you. Yes, hi children. I address you. Hi, three great children. What did I tell? Your name? Oh, my name? My profession? My working place? How I am popular? Very good. My dear sweet great children. చూడండి ఇప్పుడు ఇద్దరినే కంపేర్ చేస్తారు కదా, ఇద్దరిలో ఎవరు మంచివారు అనిపించారు మీకు? నేనే కదా. ఎందుకంటే నేను మిమ్మల్ని స్వీట్ గ్రేట్ చిల్డ్రన్ అన్నాను, కానీ తెనాలి వెంకటేశ్వర జస్ట్ మీరు హాయ్ చిల్డ్రన్ అనే పలకరించాడు కదమ్మా. సో ప్రే ఇప్పుడు నేను నిన్న ఒకటి అడుగుతాను. హే నోకరాజు, స్టాండ్ అప్ అండ్ టెల్ us about you. Oh, he is very intelligent. He will definitely introduce himself. So, my dear sweet great friend and sir. Oh, wonderful. See how he is intelligent. See, he replaced the friend in the place of children. Very good application. Yes. My name is Nokaraju. I am at class at MPP School, Maradam. I am popular as a bright boy. Very good. This is I want. See, go for the next. Radha, you stand up and say, okay. Hello, dear sweet friends and sir. Oh, Radha, very good. He changed the way of addressing. వాడు ఏమన్నాడు రా, స్వీట్ గ్రేట్ చిల్డ్రన్ అన్నాడు. ఈ అమ్మాయి చూడండి, గ్రేట్ స్వీట్ ఫ్రెండ్. ఓ, దిస్ ఈస్ ది వే ఆఫ్ creativity. This is the way of receiving. Very good. My name is Radha. I am studying 3rd class at Jackie High School, Maradam. I am popular as a good girl. Next. Very good, Radha. Very good. So, dear bubbly chubby children, I want you to know more about me. I go to school on foot. I go to school on foot. So, Gauri sir goes to school by walk. Tarak sir goes to school by a car. You understand? Now, my favorite subject is science. My favorite color is yellow. My favorite game is cricket. My favorite teacher is Sridevi Madam. Okay? Did you listen? Did you catch it? Next. Go for the next. This is your turn. Okay? So, Krishna, let me know about you more. So here I have given some hints. I go to school. What do you say? How do you come to school? I go to school by bicycle. Very good. Very good. So next, my favorite subject is, very good, mathematics. Say complete sentence. My favorite subject is mathematics. My favorite color is pink. Very good. My favorite teacher is Sarada Madam. Very good. So here,
Naidu sir,
children, now I'm going to
try to finish in 1 minute, sir.
ఓకే మై డియర్ చిల్డ్రన్, మీరు అందరూ కూడా 2 సర్కిల్స్ ఫామ్ చేయండి. ఎంతమంది పిల్లలు ఉన్నారు ఇక్కడ? 10-20 స్టూడెంట్స్ ఉన్నారు కదా. మీరు 2 సర్కిల్స్ ఫామ్ చేయండి అమ్మా. ఒకటి ఇన్నర్ సర్కిల్, ఒకటి అవుటర్ సర్కిల్. ఓకే, నేను విజిల్ వీస్తాను. ఆ విజిల్ ఓడగానే మీరు అక్కడే ఆగిపోవాలన్నమాట. ఆగిపోయి ఎవరు ఎదురుకుండా ఉన్న వాళ్ళతో మీరు ఇంటరాక్షన్, అంటే మీ సెల్ఫ్ ఇంటరాక్షన్ చెప్పుకోవాలన్నమాట. ఓకేనా? నౌ ఫస్ట్ ఇంట్రడక్షన్, మీ గురించి మీరేం చదువుతున్నారు అని చెప్పుకోవాలి. Start running. Stop. You introduce yourself. Okay. Very good. Start. Okay. పిల్లల్ని ఆ విధంగా యాక్టివిటీ లాంగ్వేజ్ గేమ్ ని ఇన్వాల్వ్ చేస్తామండి. ఆ విధంగా వాళ్ళ చేత వాళ్ళు ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేద్దామని చెప్తాము. ఆ రెండోసారి కూడా మళ్ళా వాడి ఫేవరెట్ కలర్స్, ఫేవరెట్ సబ్జెక్టు, వాటి గురించి కూడా ఇంటర్వ్యూ చేయడానికి వాళ్ళని రెడీ చేస్తాము. నెక్స్ట్ ఇక్కడ మనం హోంవర్క్ ఇవ్వటం లేదు. వీఆర్ నాట్ గివింగ్ దెమ్ ఎనీ హోంవర్క్. వీఆర్ గివింగ్ an activity at home. Discuss about the activity with your family members. But పిల్లలు విన్నారు కదరా? Have you listened what we discussed here? This activity has to be discussed at your home. Yes, మీరందరూ కూడా ఇంటికి వెళ్ళి మీ నాన్నగారుతో మాట్లాడండి. నాన్న, my name is so and so. I am studying this class. I am studying 3rd class. My favorite class is being. So నువ్వు కూడా చెప్పు నాన్న. మీ నాన్నకి ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు. అప్పుడు ఏం చెప్పాలి? నాన్న, you have to tell like this and you have to discuss something with your father. And వాళ్ళు ఇంగ్లీష్ రాదు కదా, రాకపోయినా వస్తే మంచిది, రాకపోతే వాళ్ళు ఏమన్నారు అనేటువంటిది యూ హ్యావ్ టు నోట్ ఆన్ యువర్ పేపర్ అండ్ కమ్ విత్ యువర్ డైరీ. మీ డైరీ ఇచ్చారు కదా, స్టూడెంట్ డైరీ ఉంది కదా, యూ హ్యావ్ టు రైట్ దోస్ థింగ్స్ ఆన్ యువర్ డైరీ. దిస్ ఈస్ ది వే we can impart the language function in our classroom briefly, and let our children feel classroom is an abode of happiness. Feel free and feel happy while transacting lesson. We will definitely succeed in this way of transaction, and we have great responsibility to transform the children into a great citizens. So we have to shoulder this responsibility and make everything successful. Wish you all the best. Sorry for causing inconvenience, some kind of interruption placed in the internet.
Okay, no problem, sir. Sheshadri garu. No problem. Stop sharing your screen.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Sheshadri sir. So I can see the amount of enthusiasm teachers have when it comes to classroom, and it is really difficult that teachers have been kept away from classrooms for so many months. So now we saw a sample transaction activity. I am sure that the teachers who are watching this will have several original ideas of their own how to do this kind of an introduction activity starting from the textbook. So it is very important for us. It is very important for us as teachers to keep doing these activities bilingually. We have to do this bilingually, and only then we have to start the entire idea. And slowly we'll have to gradually move to bilingual, multilingual, and then we can see how they are picking up the language English. Of you will have excellent ideas which you have already implemented in the class. This is how we can on language functions in the class. So thank you Sheshadri Garu, and thank you Ishmael sir. We can now move on to the Q&A session.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, madam, go for Q&A. Actually, I missed so many Q&A because we have given some activity, no? So that is, yeah. Let's see. Is the MG Mobina? She is asking that is the function of language is constant or dynamic? Keep on changes.
Very good question. It's a very good question. Thank you for asking that question. Definitely, the functions of language keeps changing. It is a very dynamic concept. Language itself is dynamic. Sometimes we say that technology is dynamic and it keeps changing, it keeps updating. I will say that language is the biggest technology we have. It is the most dynamic, organic, it's very organic, because depending on times, language changes. If you remember, yesterday we did ad hoc vocabulary, right? We saw about active, passive vocabulary. We also discussed ad hoc vocabulary. So ad hoc vocabulary kind of proved it to you that language accommodates various ideas that comes to it in that time and also expresses the ideas. So definitely functions are very dynamic. It keeps changing. The way we talk when we go to a railway station, the way we talk when we go to a market is different. We use all our bargaining skills in a vegetable market. When we speak in an airport, we sound very different. We cannot use the same language functions that we use. So language functions are very dynamic.
Thank you very much, madam. That's a nice answer. Yes, time is late. No, I'll ask only another single question.
Yeah, we can.
From a regular questioning person, Dharmala Jayakumar from Bhimali. Every day there is a question, one or two from him. I don't know who is Jayakumar. Okay. Focusing only on functions can turn into an exercise for just memorizing speech specific phrases only. So that can we mix a grammar-based learning into functional to obtain functional goals?
Yeah, that's a very good question. In fact, I think Jayakumar Garu is at a higher level of usage when it comes to language. He has mastered most of the concepts. He has very keenly observed. And he says when we are focusing more on language, we are focusing on structures and we are memorizing structures. But why can't we teach grammar also? We have to think that grammar is implicitly taught. Grammar is inside all these frames that I showed you, but we are not starting from parts of the speech. Yesterday also when we were discussing vocabulary, I got many comments saying we can start from parts of speech, noun, verb, and then we can also go into the grammatical constructions. But then we should understand that language functions helps in fluent communication. And for spoken English, fluency and important. That is why we are focusing on language functions. As you said, grammar is a very important component, but somehow grammar is inductively being taught without giving explicit grammatical instructions. Thank you, Jayakumar Garu, for the question.
Thank you very much, madam. Before posing one more question, this will be the last question. Rankaya Kakarla, how can we develop language functions among the lower class students? Already you have told, but any tips?
Sure. When it comes to the lower classes, we can check with them what is actually necessary for their situation. We know that at the age of 6, 7, 8, there are only certain things students will be expressing. There are maybe they will not be encouraging other students, but then they need to learn how to apologize. They need to learn how to introduce themselves when somebody comes. So we can pick 4 or 5 language functions and we can give them training in that particular spoken English forms so that they can master that instead of teaching them all the language functions. So it depends on the context.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Really
Thank you, sir.
good topic and nice presentation. With Sheshadri Naidu garu, there is a technical issue we have faced. Generally, in the beginning, what will happen?
Thank you for the audience patience. They have been very patient with us, so thank you. Of course, these technological glitches are above us. We are not in control of it. Thank you, Ishmael sir, for nicely managing the situation.
So, thank you very much, ma'am. So it's my job. Then we'll meet with another topic tomorrow. Really, on Monday we'll meet with introducing oneself topic with Dr. Munshita Hazare Pandey, Faculty of Ambedkar University, Delhi. We'll wait for Monday. So till then, please stay tuned with our channels, and there is a subscribe symbol below in the window. You please subscribe the channel so that you can get notifications also. So thank you very much and bye for the day.
Dhanyavadam. Thank you.